I don't like COCO. I think it's a really bad movie, and it surprises me how little criticism it got despite what I believe are some pretty obvious imperfections. There are a lot of questionable decisions from part of the creators, and I really believe it to be one of the worst movies ever made by Disney Pixar. So, in this video I will try to make sense of my displeasure with COCO, the movie. Needless to say, this is just my opinion and the review will contain spoilers. So, without further ado, let's get down to a nitty and gritty, shall we? The movie begins with a typical 3D animated Disney logo, but this time it's Mexican. We're introduced to the main protagonist, Miguel, and his family, the Rivera. They are a bunch of weird shoemakers who don't like music because the Matrix husband or boyfriend, it's not really clear, disappeared, and he was a musician, so the most reasonable thing to do in that situation is to ban all music from your life, apparently. But Miguel, he's not like his family, he's a normal human being, and he likes music. Inspired by the hero of all Mexicans, definitely not Pedro Infante, Miguel wants to become a musician, but his family is weird and Mexican, so he's bound to become a shoemaker who don't like music. But, surprise surprise, thanks to Miguel's brightness, he discovers that his great-grandfather had the same guitar as definitely not Pedro Infante. This prompts a series of events that end up with Miguel stealing the famous guitar and legally dying as a result. Now expired, Miguel reunites with his dead but also alive family, and he discovers that the afterlife is apparently Mexican and you need a visa. Oh, no, sorry, a photo in order to cross the border between the Dia de los Muertos land and the not dead world. Miguel's dead family wants him to return, but he's sure that definitely not Pedro Infante is his great-grandfather, and he wants to talk with him. His great-grandmother is having none of it, so he decides to escape and seek the help of an illegal alien who claims to know the famous artist. Miguel, a little bit unsurprisingly, decides to go against the advice of any competent parent and follows the suspicious man. He proceeds to explain to our hero that you can die again if your photo isn't placed in an offer for some reason. And the movie decides to show us how the dead die.
Gracias. Se murió.
Oh, so they just glow and disappear? Okay. Also, the legal wants Miguel to put his photo in an offer because he's dying or something, it's not really important. Definitely not Pedro Infante is having a party, but it's VIP. Fortunately, there's a talent show nearby where you can win a free pass. But his great-grandmother finds him with the help of her flying Pokemon and he has to run, so this thing was just to have a musical number and some conflict. But not really, because the artists that won the talent show were impressed so much by Miguel's musical prowess that they decided to smuggle him into the party. We also get a quick cameo of these two guys. Who they are? I'm gonna ask.
Jefa.
¿Quiénes son estos vatos?
Este es Pedro Infante y este Jorge Negrete.
Ah, Pedro Infante?
Sí, Pedro Infante
Oh,
y Jorge Negrete.
no, okay. Oh, gracias. Well, apparently this is Pedro Infante, the real one. Anyway, there's a lot of people because it's a party, so Miguel has to get definitely not Pedro Infante's attention with a musical number. He fails, kinda miserably, and he has to be rescued. After that, he breaks the news to definitely not Pedro Infante.
You, sir, you fucked my great-grandmother.
I guess it's true. I fucked a lot of women. Not Pedro Infante takes the news surprisingly well and just accepts the claims of the random kid. After that, the movie proceeds to show us a montage of both of them having fun in an effort to make the next relation more meaningful. Oh, who could imagine? Definitely not Pedro Infante is not who everyone thinks he is. He didn't actually write his songs, it was illegal. In fact, we're getting a double twist because not only did Illegal write his songs, he also was responsible for his death. But make that a triple because not only did Illegal write his songs and was killed by not Pedro Infante, he's also the real great grandfather.
Oh my god! Wow! Oh my god!
Anyways, Miguel and Illegal get thrown into a pit, but it doesn't matter because the flying tiger comes to the rescue. The family reunites, they expose not Pedro Infante, Miguel returns, nobody dies, except COCO, Miguel becomes a musician, and everyone lives happily ever after. Until the sequel comes out. Wait, I thought that the sequel was going to be released like 3 months ago. Yeah, there it is, on IMDb. There's even a trailer on YouTube. Let's watch it. Yeah, that doesn't look made up at all. I was going to criticize the movie on the go, but there's a lot of shit to unpack, and I thought it would be better if I go by points. So, let's begin. The story is boring, predictable, and unoriginal. It feels to me like an amalgamation of various core concepts taken directly from Disney's How to Make a Movie notebook. To help me illustrate my point, I'm going to use food as an example. Imagine this, Disney is a renowned baker. He's famous for his amazing cakes. In fact, he's so successful that his company has become one of the biggest dessert factories on the planet. Disney wants to make a brand new cake. An award-winning cake, a cake that the masses love. This shouldn't be a problem. He's skilled, he has resources, and moreover, he has secured the help of a well-known cake decorator. This should be a piece of cake. So, Disney grabs his old trusted recipe book and starts by making the base of the cake. When he finishes, he takes a look and it's okay, it's nothing special certainly. He has used the same model before, but he knows that with a little bit of work, he can make wonders with it. Disney continues with his project, but after some time, he realizes that this is going to take considerably more effort than he originally thought. And you know, he's a busy man and there's a lot of more interesting things that he can do. But this cake has to be special somehow, and thus Disney decides to use many different cool ideas from many different cool cakes he has done in the past. He stops to take a look to the progress and it's not great. In fact, some people would say that it's kind of bad. This mess needs to be fixed, but that would require effort and Disney doesn't have time for that. So he just adds some ingredients that people generally like and leave the rest to the cake decorator. She's really good at her job and decorates the shit out of the cake, transforming this monstrosity into an award-winning product. And people love it. It has an interesting flavor to say the least, but looks pretty though. And there, that's the best way I can describe the story of this movie. And just for clarity, the base of the cake is the basic structure of the story. Miguel is a kid and he has a dream, but that dream is directly in conflict with the ideas of his family. Rather than submit, Miguel embarks on a magical journey where he's going to find himself and refine his goals, ultimately changing his family's perspective for good. It's a little bit generic, but there's nothing wrong with it. It just needs a little bit of creative thinking and polishing. But hey, we all know that creativity is for the artist. Disney is a monopolist company, and first and foremost they make products. So they just fill the story with formulaic plot devices. Just like the incredibly forced triple twist and the family being triggered by something relatable to anyone. Because complex ideas are too much for the audience to handle. And then they just needed to add a theme. Oh, what's popular in today's world? Oh, that's right, minorities. Let's make the movie about Mexicans. They do that thing of offering food to the dead. And from there we have the perfect setup to make the plot similar to the one from the Book of Life. Mexicans, they do like music, right? So the family don't. There's the conflict. What else? Oh, I think minorities have problems with absent dads, so we'll make something about it. Oh, it doesn't make sense? Pixar, do your thing and make a flash animation out of this.
One debt to society later.
Got him!
The world is confusing and nonsensical. And the characters are just really weird. They often make really questionable and illogical decisions. And it seems to be in general, there is something off about how many of them behave. It feels artificial. The phrase that constantly popped up in my head while watching the movie was, I have so many questions. Because I have, and there's a lot to be asked. Believe me. So let's go chronologically. Why does he look like not Pedro Infante? This is false advertising. They don't even have the same haircut.
Music had torn her family apart.
Really though? I thought she hated him. Why did she only cut his face off? What happens when there are like town parties or quinceaños? Do you do the same? You must be really popular around here. What does that lever supposed to do? Is this something that happens frequently? I think having that many candles is dangerous. And it seems to be more illuminated there. Why aren't you playing your guitar inside your secret room? Are you really that excited that your son is going to make shoes, or you just want to drink? I don't think telling your family was the best decision, but okay.
That man was Ernesto de la Cruz, the greatest musician of all time.
We've never known anything about this man.
I understand that he left your grandmother and he's not part of the family, but that man is...
The greatest musician of all time.
Aren't you interested in somehow take advantage of that? You know, you can make a profit out of it. You can write a book or something. You destroyed his guitar. Did you really think that he was going to be okay after that? Even your son seems to know better. Is this the best idea you could come with? Stealing a celebrity's guitar from his tomb in a day where there is going to be a lot of people? I know that you think that he's your family and you have a photo with the guitar and some dude, but even then, like, I don't know, it seems to be a stretch. Everyone is going to recognize the instrument and you're probably going to be arrested. The police is not going to believe you. So I don't see how this could end well. Why did you do that? You are stealing, remember? Why not wait until you are in a safe place? And also, why does it look like he only got transported to the afterlife after he played the guitar? I thought it was supposed to be a curse for the ones who steal. So what about that piece of chicken? He stole it, why didn't he got transported? Is food exempted from this rule? I have so many questions. Why do dead people look like skeletons? Aren't they like ghosts or something? It wouldn't matter how they look. Why not take form of when people were in their prime of life? Heck, why not manifest as a mystical ball of light or one of those realistic angels? Is this the only dog with superpowers, or all of them can see dead people and casually travel to the afterlife? Maybe it's a specific trait of dogs of the same breed. Frida said something about cholos being the guides of spirits or something, I don't know. That looks like Catepec. Well, can't blame Disney for being realistic on that regard. If the afterlife was Mexican, it would probably look like that. And now that we are here, does each culture get like their own personalized paradise? What about the other countries of Mexico? Why is there a border and why is there a sentry box? When the legal tries to make a run for it, the bridge magically decides not to let him cross. Can it detect illegals? Then why have a border at all? Maybe they missed El Paso so much that they decided to create one. And who are all you working for? Is it for God? Are you getting paid? And why do you need a photo to cross? I mean, if you're going to be that obvious with your reference, why not give them legal papers? It sounds like a nightmare to depend on something that you don't even own. What about people who don't play softwares anymore? Are their relatives just fucked? Are all of those from people who are cursed? Because if stealing is the way to get cursed, Mexico would be filled with people who have visited the afterlife. And curses are supposed to be like you break a mirror and now you have bad luck, not you steal and now you're dead. Listen people, this is Disney basically saying they don't give a fuck.
He is. I am terribly allergic.
But Dante doesn't have any hair.
And I don't have a nose, and yet here we are.
Is really that easy? Just a pedal and some words from a dead relative? Because there's an exploit that comes to my mind. People can just steal something when they want to visit their family on El Dia de Muertos. You get cursed, but it doesn't seem to bear any consequence. You only have to return before dawn. So why not take advantage of it? Why is the afterlife so broken? I have so many questions. Why does social inequality exist in this place? I thought the afterlife was supposed to be nice and peaceful. This is basically real life, but way shittier. What happens when you die again? Is there like an afterlife 2.0? Or you really die this time?
Invitation?
It's okay. I'm Ernesto's great-great-grandson.
He actually thought it would work.
I'm Miguel. Your great-great-grandson.
I have a great-great-grandson? I have a great-great-grandson!
Well, he was convinced rather quickly, but okay. Is this the first time you both have contact since De La Cruz arrived to this place? You still thought he was your friend. Why didn't you look for him? And why does it look like you also haven't told anyone who you are? Seriously? It never came to your mind that your death maybe wasn't accidental until you saw that clip? And that movie was released a long time ago. Haven't you seen it? Why you have security? Aren't you like dead? Why throw them into a pit though? You can just jail them in your basement. It's going to have the same effect. Hey Disney, people can't remember their beloved without a photo. And how are you supposed to survive when the last person that knew you dies? What about when cameras didn't exist? Is this the first time you both have contact? Why haven't you looked for your wife? Okay, so the Technicolor tiger represents Mama Imelda's strong and independent character, right? In that case, Miguel's spirit guardian represents that he's not bright? Well, at least that's consistent.
And so what if it's true? You leave me alone with a child to raise and I'm just supposed to forgive you?
Okay, he didn't even try to tell you he died. But dude, what the fuck? He was killed. Not Pedro Infante gets exposed, but it wouldn't matter because people in the real world don't know anything about the drama. They are going to still place him in offers and send him gifts. Why do you scream? The last 2 times nothing happened. And where's your jacket? Is it dead? I have an hypothesis where everything that happens was just an hallucination in Miguel's mind thanks to his addiction to methamphetamine. He needed money to buy more drugs, and the best idea he could come with was to steal the guitar from a celebrity and maybe sell it. To get courage, he decides to smoke a little bit of meth before the act, and that's how we got an hour of nonsense. That's the only way that all of this could make sense.
It's you. Get in here. Come on, Dante. Hurry up.
Préndete la ranfla, pisa fondo en caliente, que este pelo no descansa, me la paso sonriente. No pierdo mi tiempo, si tiene foco 20, acá andamos enfierrados y chingamos a 20.
Le damos raya o quemada, te pongo bien endiablada. Me activo con los que saben que no hay nada de bajada. Los de la mente alterada, no le cabreamos a nada. Si se acaba la engelada, nomás echamos llamada.
Que la vida es cabrona, por eso la tiro al león. La noche se presta pa' aventar loquerón. Sácate tarjeta pa' hacer un rayón. Que quiero sentir el corazón zumbando a millón.
Sobres vamos por ahí, zumbando el acordeón. Otra noche sin dormir, a dormir al panteón. Fui de cumbia con Cricri y nos amaneció. Yo bailaba con la Cris, ya que con Marisol.
There's a crying kid in front, telling you not to forget your father, and you only react when he played that song? That is really convenient.
Mama, no. After years of indoctrination, I'm starting to realize, in this exact moment, that I like music.
Okay, so you had the rest of the photo with you all this time. Why haven't you put it together? Your mom died a long time ago. And she clearly remembered her dad. She kept shit from him. Then why the need of a fucking photo? Disney, I have so many questions. Before continuing, I would like to pay a little attention to what I think is the worst character and probably the real villain, Mama Imelda. Yeah, you heard that right. Mama Imelda is for me the real villain of the story. Just think about it. She is responsible for many of the conflicts in the movie. First, her husband, a man that clearly loves her daughter and I assuming her as well, disappears, and the first thing that comes to her mind is that he just left. The movie suggests that she didn't even bother to look for him. That's questionable to say the least, but whatever. It wouldn't be that big of a deal if it wasn't for the fact that her husband's partner became famous by singing his songs. And not only that, he was the last person to see him alive. Also, he has his guitar. You don't need to be particularly intelligent to notice a pattern. If the situation wasn't bad enough, she decides to traumatize her entire family by banning all music. Why music though? Everyone likes music. She likes music. She even can sing pretty well. I would think that her problem should be more with musicians, because her husband was a musician, right? Then why take it on something that you like? It's almost masochistic if you think about it. And the funny thing is that no one in the family complains, except Miguel. Everyone is like,
Oh yeah, I hate music and I make shoes.
I cannot imagine anyone living without music. It just doesn't make sense. Many things in this movie don't make sense. Everything feels so superficial. Just like my next point. There's been a lot of talk about the cultural value of this movie. There was article after article saying that this movie is revolutionary, that it represents the culture really well, and diversity and representation, blah blah blah. There are some that even claim it to be one of the best movies Pixar ever made, which is baffling for me. Because I think this is one of the worst movies ever made by Pixar. But people really seem to like it, and that's something that I've been questioning myself since the release of the movie. So, why is this movie special? Not because of the story, not because of the message, not because of the characters. Maybe the animation, but any other Pixar movie looks great. That's what you expect from the studio. Then, why is this movie different? Well, I think it's because of the theme. This movie is quote-unquote Mexican and nothing more. And that seems to be the focus of almost any article and review talking about the film. When in reality, I would argue that the most Mexican thing is probably the grandma. And even then, she's just a mixture of Mexican granny stereotypes. She insists Miguel to eat because she's a grandma. She's loud and aggressive and uses her sandal to kick people and animals. But I have to admit, there are some nice details here and there. The family, despite their weirdness, they feel Mexican enough. The town looks Mexican, people behave like Mexicans, I think. But you know, that's kinda implied when you want to make a movie about other cultures. It is expected from the creators of the movie to at least do a little research. But in the case of the afterlife, it seems to me at least that everything is just there because people would like it. For example, the city. According to Lee Unkrich, quote, I didn't want to have just a free-for-all wacky world. There needed to be some logic to it. ... So we ask ourselves, what would a world look like that was being added onto constantly? Unquote. I don't know, Lee. I am not a civil engineer, but I am pretty sure that designing a city like that is not logical. The Alebrijes as spirit guardians, it kinda makes sense because the dude who created them fell into a coma and supposedly dreamt about them. But I don't think they put that much effort into the background. I think they are just there to sell toys because they look cool and they can make super tigers and Sonic. When I've asked people why they like COCO, they normally come with two responses. Because the theme of the movie is Mexican, and obviously the scene with COCO. And I cannot stop thinking about how manipulative the movie is. As I said many times, the story is not good and it is just distracting how bad the world is designed. The things that stand out are just superficial. Look at De La Cruz. I like his design, but it is just comical how much he looks like Pedro Infante. And that's why I call him definitely not Pedro Infante. Because he looks more like Pedro Infante than Pedro Infante himself. It is super funny. And I ask myself, why not make a parody out of the other celebrities too? But well, I know the answer. It is because that will take effort. And the same can be said about the infamous scene with COCO. That scene that apparently makes everyone cry. Disney didn't even took the effort to develop the character. They just show her as this little cute big-eyed girl. that is really happy because she has a father that loves her. And that's relatable because everyone has a father that loves them. But if that's not the case, you can just imagine the experience of having one. And as a grandma, that is really sad because her father died and her mother was a cunt. And that's also relatable because we have grandmas and we don't want to see our grandmas sad. You see, it is super manipulative. They only show you the two stages in the life of a human being that almost automatically invoke feelings of tenderness. A little girl and a grandma. If you really think about it, COCO only exists to make the audience cry. Or horny?
Well, hello, beautiful. It's not often that I am, speechless.
I really think that this movie was made just to make money. And there's nothing wrong with that, but don't try to convince me that this is a passion project when you try to fucking copyright the fucking name of a festivity. I see this movie for what it is, a product. But you know what makes me sad? Is all the effort that was put into it. All the people involved with this movie, the writers, the artists, everyone, I am sure that they did the best to make this movie possible. It's a shame that all of that was wasted with this soulless product, when they could have made a really good movie. And that's the thing, the lost potential. That is really sad. For example, the movie is named after COCO, but she is not the main character. She doesn't do anything. And the story of Miguel is super generic, so why not make the movie about that little girl who lost her father and now her really young mother has to become the breadwinner? That sounds way more interesting than the movie we got. And also the settings sound really cool. It would be in the 1920s in Mexico, when the country was really unstable and not a nice place to live. There are so many complex topics that you could approach with a setting like that, instead of just throwing a big reference to immigration. But hey, it's Disney, they don't care about quality, they just care about money. I don't hate this movie, but I really don't like that people say it is a good one. Not that I am against people enjoying it, on the contrary, but I just think that this movie shouldn't be as praised as it is. But hey, that's just my opinion. And with that, this video has come to an end. If you want to leave, you're free. Really thank you if you made it until here. I really appreciate it. And for those who stay, I am going to give a channel announcement, I suppose. You probably noticed by now, this is my first video. I think it's pretty obvious. And for the record, I don't think it's a good one. I don't think it's a good video at all. While editing it, I came up with a lot of errors and things that I can improve. But if you want to give me feedback, I would appreciate it, because the point is also to improve. You probably noticed by now, this is my first video. I think it's pretty obvious. And for the record, I don't think it's a good one. I don't think it's a good video at all. While editing it, I came up with a lot of errors and things that I can improve. But if you want to give me feedback, I would appreciate it, because the point is also to improve. I delayed this video a lot. It was supposed to come out on November of last year, you know, when it's Halloween and El Día de Muertos. But a lot of things have happened in my life. It was interesting, to say the least. And yeah, I just delayed a lot, and even when I'm late, I am late. Because I wanted to release it like 1 month ago and I haven't done it until now. I wanted to be done with this video, but I put some effort into it and I figured out that at least I could have a little bit of fun with it. I've learned from my mistakes, I think. In this case, for example, I overextended myself. I wrote a really large script and I don't know how to edit. I think it shows, right? But yes, I didn't thought it was going to be this hard, but now I know. I want to focus more on quality than quantity, so my videos are going to be shorter, but I will try to make them better until I learn how to edit properly. So yes, with nothing more to say, really thank you for watching, and again, if you have any feedback, I will read it and write in the comments. I have also an Odyssey channel, I will put it in the description. I have an Instagram account where I am going to start posting some random photos I take. And with nothing more to say, really thank you for watching. I am 6 and I hope to see you soon. Have a good day.
Llegó el que te revienta la cara la botella. Vamos a ver de qué conversalen más estrellas. Llegó el que te revienta la cara la botella. Vamos a ver de qué conversalen más estrellas. Llegó el que te revienta la cara la botella. Vamos a ver de qué conversalen más estrellas.
Pura sangre malandra.
De repente en el cuartito pegaron el grito cuando Pomil llegó al micro. Marihuano drogadicto, lo encerraron por maldito. Mi expediente desconvicto, no me dejo trabajar. Pero quién chingas me quita mi manera de cantar. Al catón y los trompos que me dio la judicial me alejaron del desmadre de la droga y la maldad. Pandillero original, nacido en la Caracola, adoptado en Santa Marta y en la Aurora, como no. Maracaibo de por vida, no más guacha en mis costillas, el placazo en tinta china, con cuerda de guitarra estilo Santa Catarina. De cuando el